Do you have a graphics card? Well, if you do, you can try this to squeeze a little more horsepower out of it. And it doesn't matter if it's AMD or NVIDIA, just follow me. This video will be for beginners. Just go head on over to MSI Afterburner on their launch page, and you're going to want to download this MSI Afterburner. After you have that downloaded, go ahead and hop over to MSI Combustor. You'll find this on geeks3d.com. Download that, get those both set up, and open them up and just kind of have them sitting here side by side. Alright, so MSI Combustor, we're going to go ahead and leave everything just how it presents itself here. You've got the resolution. This is just the window that's going to pull up. It is a resizable window. You'll be able to change resolution in a moment. We have it selected on the MSI 01 test, and in a bit we will hit run test, but not yet. MSI Afterburner over here, you've got your GPU clocks showed right here. Mine's sitting idle at 1695. The boost clock, so the base and boost, these are these two arrows or triangles. These will move as we're sliding the core clock around. And then down below you have your memory clock. Mine's sitting 9751 megahertz. And in the middle here, you've got your core voltage that comes grayed out. We're going to leave that grayed out because this video is really just kind of like a beginner's, how to do this stuff. And we're not going to dive into the voltage in this one. Your power limit for your graphics card, your temperature limit for your graphics card, your core clocks, your memory clocks. So these two are directly associated with these right here. And then your fan speed, and mine looks like it just comes auto on. So I'll leave it on auto for the moment. If for some reason it doesn't seem like auto's keeping up with what we're doing, I'll change it then. You can manually set it to like 50 or 70%, but we'll just see what auto does for us. Over on the right hand side, voltage, I'm pretty sure that's just going to stay 0 since we're not messing with the core voltage today. And right now I idle my graphics card, my RTX 3090 sitting at 49 Celsius. So that's kind of a rundown. And then down below it has your graphics card and driver version, and then it shows you a timestamp of the temperatures that your graphics card's hitting. Alright, so let's go ahead and let's open up MSI Combustor. Here it is. And so this is going to be a stress test on the graphics card. And the reason why we want to open this is because it's in real time. And as we move things around with MSI Afterburner, you'll be able to see what exactly is going on. And actually, check this out. Not a lot of people know about this. So here we have it. If you look down here, we're sitting at 85 frames per second. You want a really quick, easy way to overclock your graphics card? Check this out. 85 frames per second. Ba-bam! Just shrink the video. 121 frames per second. Easy overclock. You're welcome. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. That's not what we're doing today. Nope. But we will have the window smaller. But I did want to show you that just to keep in mind that what we do in this smaller window might not work while you're playing your video game, which is usually full frame there. So keep in mind that wherever we get this thing to crash at, you want to dial it back about 15 to 20 points on the core clock and the memory clock sitting over here. And so that'll give you that headroom from having this small little window to going full screen. So keep that in mind, and that's why we have higher frames per second, is because there's less that the graphics card has to do in this window. Alright, so right off the bat, don't be afraid. Let's just crank the power limit and the temp all the way up, as high as it goes. You're not going to hurt anything. We're just increasing the limits on it. And if you look over to the left hand side, it didn't even do anything. And that's because we're increasing how much power can go to the graphics card when it needs it, and we're increasing the cap that is set internally for the temperature. So now let's start playing with the actual fun stuff here. So we're sitting at 122 frames per second, 8 to 7 milliseconds between frame times. Let's go ahead and start cranking over the core clock. So the core clock, depending on your graphics card, if it's a little bit older, maybe just do 20 points at a time. Just by sliding this over, it'll show you, see we're at plus 25. But you see how these guys, these red and white ones, start to slide around? That's showing your target points. And I'm gonna start off with plus 58 right there. And the memory, I'm gonna increase it to plus 49. So once you have those set, just hit that check mark, and don't be scared. If you slide those over a little too far, and it does crash, that's okay. You're not hurting anything yet. The only thing you're going to want to avoid is this little Windows button. Do not hit this yet, because what this does is whatever we choose here and we hit save, if we hit that startup button, it's going to save those settings when the computer boots up. You don't want that as a beginner. You definitely, well, you don't want that in general, but once you get everything where you like it and you're not experiencing any crashes, then you can open up MSI Afterburner and hit that button, and all your settings will still be there when you boot up your computer. So let's avoid that. Let's only hit the check mark, and we can kind of see we're now hitting 125, 126. We got a little boost already. Let's do, so on mine, I'm going to do 106 as well as plus 82. Maybe for now I'll just keep them pretty close. So 106 and 104. Save. So now those should climb 125, 126. But you have your GPU temp. Mine's sitting around 70 degrees. There it is in Fahrenheit. How much time has passed by and how many frames it's processed. Milliseconds, still doing 7 to 8. Actually, it's mostly in the 7s. Beforehand, it was mostly in the 8s. So we did increase there, and look at now we're at 129 frames per second. So we are seeing an increase. Let's go ahead and slide this up to 139 and 136. $128, 129, dropped a little bit, 130. All right, 131. There's our first 131. So you can see that this actually works. This is how you can easily overclock your graphics card. And I'll go ahead and bump it just a little bit more, 155. 155 to 147. Save. And we'll see if we can get just a little bit more in there. 10 frames per second, and I'll be happy with this. Let's give it a second just to do its thing. 126, 128, 29, 30, no. But yeah, you can see our memory clock, 9898. We'll just keep it simple. 9,898 megahertz, and our GPU is at 1,875 megahertz. Let's see here. I do want to squeeze just a little more out of the core clock. And my temperature down here, you can see it ramped up, and it kind of seems to be staying at 68. 130, 131. right, so now I'll show you. I will show you what it looks like when it does crash, so you know that it's going to be just fine. So sitting side by side, these seem like good numbers. We could probably crank them up a little bit more, but I'm going to crank it up a lot to show you what happens if you go a little too far. So let's do 204. Ah, there we go. It crashed. Oh, I lost my recording. All right, so all right, so because I'm using the NVIDIA recorder, it did crash, and as you can see, MSI is sitting here. Here are the numbers that it crashed at, and so in this case, all you have to do is just hit this back button. This will revert or reset. So we hit that, and boom, everything goes back to normal. It's got it saved in there already, and now this is at stock before we even played with it. So now I'd be able to pull open MSI Combustor again, run it, and all is gravy, and there you go. And now we're sitting at 125, 122 frames per second again. So you can see that we did increase it by doing that. You just want to find that sweet spot, make sure not to hit that startup button, and that is how you overclock your graphics card with MSI Afterburner. Alright, if you have any questions, just leave them in the comments down below. Well, I hope you liked this video. If you did, hit that like button. If you didn't, hit that dislike button. And if you want to see any more videos upcoming, actually, hold on. So one thing I'll show you is that, so this stuff right here in the top left corner, this is actually because of MSI Afterburner. That is something that you can toggle on that you might see in other people streaming videos, but you can have an overlay of your GPU temp usage. It's got it at, yeah, so they're matched up, but it shows you the megahertz, and you can have all sorts of things, frames per second, your RAM usage, CPU temps, and so on. But yeah, if you guys want to see how to set that up, just let me know. I'll make a video about that. But I think that just about covers that. So have fun with it, play around, don't be scared of it. If you crash like we did, just hit that reset button and all's good in the world. If you like this video, hit that like button. If you want to see upcoming videos, maybe like this MSI overlay, tutorial, we can definitely do that. Smash that subscribe button so you don't miss out on that. And I think that's going to be it. I appreciate the views, and I will see you guys in the next video.
Please hang up and try again.